All right, here we go. Hello, everyone. I'm back once again for day 5, day 6 of doing these live tarot readings every day or so. And I'm enjoying these, and I will keep doing them. I'm gonna break my streak at some point this week because I am leaving Italy to travel to Croatia, and that travel day, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to do anything. But other than that, these are not that difficult to do, and I enjoy them. So, plenty of topics to address. And tonight, I have picked the topic of Taiwan and China, whether there's possibility of conflict. I did a reading on this earlier in the year, and for 2022, I did not see any physical conflict, any war between China and Taiwan. But I want to look a little further ahead now that we're nearing the end of the year, and see. Basically, I'm going to look at the first quarter of the year and see if there's a possibility of any conflict, because recently Xi Jinping, I hope I'm saying his name right, the current leader of China, was reaffirmed for another term, I think, or he's basically going to be around for at least another 5 years. And so what is the possibility? Like, there's a possibility too that was he just waiting to have that happen, and then now that that's happened, is war inevitable? Is it going to be happening soon? So that's what I'll be looking at. And anything else related to that, feel free to leave a comment, and I'll try to address as much about this situation as possible. Probably not going to do a super long reading tonight, but whatever you guys want me to cover. And if there's something else you want me to talk about, just let me know. I'll try and do a reading. I always need to mention that I do personal readings, of course, too, on Super Peer. You can always reach me there. And for whatever you want addressed in your life coaching, anything, anything, feel free to contact me there. And I think my prices are pretty reasonable, starting at like $19 for a personal reading. And so check it out. If you would like some issue in your life addressed, I will do my best to help you and use some magic to send your life in a new direction. But anyways, back to Taiwan, enough of that. And let's get started with this. So Taiwan, I was going to look first at the overall energy I see right now in Taiwan and then in China in a very general way. So let's begin with China. And I've been doing the readings in which I like to spread out the cards and show you guys as I do the readings. So let's do that. And I'll begin by looking at the energy I'm seeing from China right now. And after this, I'll look at Taiwan, I'll look at Xi Jinping, I'll look at the possibility of war between now and, end of March, the first quarter of 2023. I'll look at the overall support of the Chinese people. If there were a war, like how supportive would they be of it? I'm going to look at the U.S., whether they, like what level of interaction they might have in a war. And I think finally I'll look at whether there's a possibility this could escalate to World War III, or, just a world war, in which, like Ukraine, I don't consider it a world war, even though a lot of other countries are, involved with it and acting as to support Russia or to support Ukraine. But overall, Ukraine and Russia are the only physical participants in the war at this point. All right, so I'm looking at China, overall energy right now from China. All right. I don't know if you could see that. My finger actually, my finger all like moves sideways, and I'm not doing that. It's just the energy moves it. So anyways, overall energy from China I'm seeing is the Ace I'm sorry, the King of Wands, and very powerful card, yeah, very strong card. Yeah, in this situation too. I mean, this is not a card you want to go up against. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing for China. That overall energy, very fiery energy, and it can be creative, but it can also be destructive. So yeah, let's take a look at Taiwan. Show you again. So Taiwan's energy overall right now. I mentioned before I would love to travel to Taiwan because I am heading to Asia, but because of this situation, I don't think it's a good idea right now. And for those of you who are not happy with the times that I do these lives, just know that I'm going to do different times. And, you know, sometimes I announce them, sometimes I don't. This one I just did kind of randomly. All right, Taiwan. A little more difficult to find the card for Taiwan. I'm not feeling any strong energies right now. Okay, over here. For the energy for Taiwan. Here. Okay. Page of Pentacles I'm seeing, which is, I mean, between, if these two were in a war, the Page of Pentacles would not have much of a chance. It's not a very, I mean, it's a very, like it looks, it's a very youthful energy, very, you know, just a very young energy that is, it's trying to maintain a platform and have a foothold in the world, but in terms of a war, there's like no competition. This is, you know, a dragon versus a caterpillar or something. Very strong difference. All right, let's take a look next at I'm going to take a look next at Xi Jinping. Overall energy coming from him right now. I'm sure many people saw the kind of a viral moment recently when the earlier Chinese leader was escorted unceremoniously from the floor of the, I don't know what it was, some congressional body or whatever, that it was not a very good image for Xi Jinping. But okay, so let's take a look at Xi Jinping, his energy right now. And one of the key energies that I read earlier in the year was for Putin as the emperor, and that was like right before the Ukraine war. So if I saw the emperor with Xi Jinping, that'd be a pretty ominous energy. But I mean, my personal just intuition is that he's not quite the same energy as the emperor. The emperor just has more of a short fuse, and I don't see Xi Jinping seems like a little more, just a little more emotionally level-headed than Putin in some ways. Putin's just is very tight, not very, you know, iron glove type of guy. So Xi Jinping. Not feeling any clear energy for him. And I'm looking for Xi Jinping's energy right now, which will certainly be a key determinant in whether there will be a war or any kind of attack on Taiwan. Okay, here we go. There. Interesting. I'm seeing the Queen of Wands, and I saw the energy for China as the King of Wands. So this is fascinating that the Queen of Wands is largely going to be more a receptive energy, and if China as a whole is the King of Wands, it kind of indicates that he is sort of to a large degree at the has to cooperate with that energy, the King of Wands, which is more of the determinant. So I think a lot of this is going to come down to whether other high officials and the overall energy of China, whether they want a war with Taiwan. My instinct is no, that they don't, but I could be totally wrong about that. There could be higher ups that are very pro Taiwan war, or getting Taiwan back. And let's take a look. So key thing between now and March, that's the question I'm looking at now. The energy of whether there will be a war or any kind of attack between China and Taiwan. And if there's any other questions relating to the situation, let me know. I seem to, when I do these readings, if I give more notice, I seem to get more viewers, but I just wanted to get this one off the ground tonight, so I only gave like 10 minutes notice. But for anyone who is here and has any questions, feel free to let me know. Not just about Taiwan, other issues too. Okay, so a possibility of war between, Jennifer Booth, hello, and Marshall Mundenda. Would you in the near future give us a psychic prediction on the Ukrainian war? Actually, Marshall, if you look at my reading that I did yesterday, I think it's called, the name of that reading is, I could put a link to it. It's just called UK and Europe Tarot Reading and Your Request Live. It's the one I did yesterday. I looked at Ukraine in a lot of detail, so I would advise you to check that one out. But if you don't want to check it out, the overall details are, I was seeing that the war energy was winding down in a lot of ways, and I see it continuing through this year, but around February, March, I'm seeing the energy kind of being pulled out of it. And so that's like the summary of it. But if you want the more detailed version, go and watch that other reading. But so let's get back to Taiwan. So this is again back at the possibility of a war or conflict in general between Taiwan and China between now and the end of March, the first quarter of 2023. And I always want to rush this because I know this is maybe the least interesting part of me just hovering my hands over the cards, but I know that if I rush it, I don't want to do a bad reading, so I do need to take my time with this and get it right. But people watching, you're helping by, I I think your energy contributes to this as well. All right, here we go. I should show you before I look at it myself. So I haven't seen the card yet. So let's look at it together. And interesting. So I'm seeing the Ten of Wands. Now, in terms of whether there's a possibility of war, this is not a. I mean, it is a Wands card, which means it could be high energy and fiery, but this is one of the most, I guess, subdued of Wands cards. It's in which there's so much uh, kind of you have so many ideas and so many things that you're focusing on that you're not really doing much. So I would say that there are participants in this that would like to have a war, but this is positive overall. I would say that a lot of that energy, that fiery energy, is being contained. So I would say, based on this is overall optimistic. This does not look like a war or conflict between China and Taiwan, at least in the first quarter of 2023, between now and the end of March, which is good. I was going to look at, well, I can look at this still, like the possible, like how much support would the people of China have for a war, but based on what I saw earlier, as China as the King of Wands. Well, let's take a look at this. So yeah, how much the overall will of the Chinese people do they want? Are they? Is it something they even care about? Like getting Taiwan back as part of China? Is that something that they really care about? Or is it just like, why are we wasting our time doing that? I really don't know. So I want to see the pulse of the people. I always feel a general energy first, and then I have to spread the cards out sometimes to really narrow it down. Right here. So the overall will of the Chinese people, their interest in having a war, I'm seeing the Judgment card. Interesting. Judgment card it's a very spiritual card. It's about spiritual awakening and spiritual elevation. I wouldn't describe it as a war card. Yeah, this doesn't seem like a very. I feel like the Chinese people are overall shifting towards a more um, kind of a benign influence, and they're not interested in a war. Like, especially having seen the Ukraine war and its futility and how it's just dragging on. I'm not getting the impression that the Chinese people want that in their own backyard. All right. I was going to look at whether the U.S. would support China, like not China, would support Taiwan, like what level of support they would have, but I'm not seeing that war. So I don't feel like we need to go down that avenue at this point. And whether a conflict would escalate to a world war, again, I don't. If we don't have conflict between now and March, I don't see the need to do that reading because you can't escalate what doesn't happen. So yeah, I think that's the main points that I wanted to do with Taiwan tonight. I don't see a conflict erupting between now and a March, and I think we should all be grateful for that. And before I sign off, if anyone has any other world issues you want me to do a quick reading on, let me know, or even a personal like reading on some aspect of your life. I'm willing to do a quick reading. Just let me know in the comments. But otherwise, you can always contact me directly. And for personal advice or personal readings, I guess I'll just flash my Super Peer ad once again, where you can contact me directly. And I think if I do a reading tomorrow, I don't know if I'm going to do a reading tomorrow because I'm leaving the day after that. I'm going to be getting ready to leave and packing. But if I do a reading, my next reading, if not tomorrow, will probably be Thursday. And I'm thinking about doing a reading on kind of the situation with Twitter, free speech, Elon Musk taking over Twitter, and what that's going to mean. Because that's really interesting to me. Free speech and online and weaponized speech online and all that has been a major issue. You know, it comes up all the time, and there's a reason for that, and I'd love to discuss it and just look at it a little more in depth about the future of what expression is going to mean online and so on. Jennifer, I see you asked anything on safety of Zelensky. That's a good question. Why don't I do a quick reading on that? So like I said, I saw in yesterday's reading that around February, March, I see the energy being really taken out of the Ukraine war. So I'll take a look at Zelensky overall between now and, like I said, around March, and see what we can expect about his safety between now and then. Because even if the war does end, does that mean that he's gonna be okay? Yeah, I didn't think about that, doing a reading on him yesterday. Definitely in here. All right, got it right here. All right, so overall, the health of Zelensky between now and March, seeing the 10 of Pentacles, which I would say is pretty safe. This is a pretty solid card. You can see the imagery is this older guy and very, I mean, Pentacles are all about having a platform to land on and having a strong base and strong material support. So I think overall this is very good. This is like one of the safest and kind of protected cards that you can have. So I would say overall this looks very positive for Zelensky between now and March. Yeah. Any other quick questions? Or oh yeah. Yeah, thank you for that question though, Jennifer. That was a good question that I wish I had addressed yesterday in my Europe reading. Trying to think about other topics too that in the near future. So in addition to Twitter and Elon Musk, I was going to look at, and you know, when I looked at that reading, I'm going to look at also whether people like Trump and Kanye West will be returning to Twitter, things like that, and what that means, what that's going to signify. Also, I'm going to do a reading at some point in the future on AI, the overall influence of that, and what we can expect, what level of danger that might portend. I'm not sure when I'm going to do that, but really anything in the news that is up in the air. I haven't really done a deep reading on, and this is something that I've wanted to do, is, the outcome of the midterm elections, which are just about a week away. So I should probably do a reading on that at some point very soon to see what the outcome is going to mean in the Senate and the House of Representatives. And I've done a lot of readings, though, on a lot of states, governor results, things like that. But yeah, like as always, just let me know if in the comments or wherever if you have ideas for future tarot topics. I always try to do what people are really interested in. And if you're not subscribed, I'm going to try and do these every day if possible, but that's not always possible. But I'm guessing in the next few months, I'm going to be doing these at least 5 days a week, which I think is great. Sometimes they're just short, 10, 15 minutes. Sometimes I'm on here for an hour and I'll address whatever people want addressed. It can be just news items, things that are happening in the world, or personal readings. If anyone wants a quick personal reading on some aspect of their life, I can do it here. But if it's personal, you should probably contact me on SuperPeer. But if it's not personal, if it's just more general life stuff, just you can ask in the comments. But yeah, so I think that's all for tonight. I'm going to wrap it, and thank you all for watching, and I'll hope to see you